Hello, this is Scott Schertzen alongside Mr. JT McGuire and Mr. Robert Leckington, and welcome to Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250, Tales from the Film Set. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app on the app stores of iOS and Android devices. When you download, make sure to rate and leave a comment. Both apps are free. Zingo TV, by the way, is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku, Roku sticks, and all smart TVs 2016 and forward. Gentlemen, how you rocking?
I'm rocking great, and I'm not stopping.
That music, the intro music just always gets me going, man. You know,
hell yeah, dude. I don't know. Props to Rebecca basically for finding that. I don't know what song it is. I got to find that out. But yeah, respect to that song. It is friggin' awesome. And yeah, thank you for YouTube and everything else for not canceling the channel using it.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh my, yeah, copyright claim everybody.
Really?
But irrespective, we just can't monetize. That's fine. But anyway, we got a bunch of stuff we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about background actors, the good, the bad, and oftentimes the very, very anemic. We will also be talking a little bit about TV hosting. That'll make sense in a little bit. It's a thinker. We'll also be talking about a little bit about TV hosting, what's got to get done to get involved with that, how to do that, some of the gigs that are out there, how much some of those gigs pay too, which will shock the snot out of you. But as always, basically, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Tales from the Film Set and on Twitter at Film Set Tales. So figure we're going to start this off because when it comes to background acting, acting usually is basically in quotes a little bit. Background actors is the highest paid lazy work I think the world has. No other job in the United States, I think, can you get paid legit $200 to $400 to $500. A guy I know that I'm buddies with last week made in a single day $859 to be the guy who's just like,
Jesus, I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah.
And cut.
Yeah,
no joke, legit. You know, it is the highest paid lazy work that the industry that any industry I think can have. Add to it the fact that you have 2 catered meals and also unlimited snacks too. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was sorry. I interrupted you. I was going to say, how many takes did that take for him to?
He was there for a while. Yeah, he was. He was there pretty much all day. Granted, but I mean, it was a long, 14, 15-hour day. I'm not going to argue that point. But after all the penalties that went in on things, all the various, premiums and whatnot, I think the car might have been involved. He walked away. He had, by the way, he had 2 days for a total of $1,500. But the one day was $859.
Listen,
go ahead.
There's some people who get paid $50 to stand naked while people paint them. This guy had to wear his clothes on a camera, and he got paid $850.
Yes.
I don't feel bad.
It is the highest paid lazy work, I think, anywhere in the world, especially when you're in the New York area, because you can make actually a really good living as a background actor. And again, I use the word actor in quotes because your acting is just literally just being
ambience.
Yeah, dude, Woody Allen referred to them as props that eat. And we're going to be talking a little bit today about some of the worst best background people. You may have seen the videos where you see that one guy who's like sweeping air. You see that one guy from if you saw the thumbnail I threw up on YouTube, you have the one background actor that for whatever reason, this legitimately happened in a Hulk Hogan movie. In a Hulk Hogan movie, throws a dog into a pond, and for whatever reason, it made the cut.
Wow!
From what I heard, that was not an actor. That was just a man throwing his dog into the water.
It was was that Santa with muscles, I think?
No, that was Mr. Nanny.
It was Mr. Nanny. Okay. Yeah, was that the one where he's the alien that came down, right?
No, that was Suburban Commando.
Damn it, I'm getting all these wrong. Which was the one who was like, I was frozen today?
That was Suburban Commando.
Okay, I eventually was going to get my Hulk Hogan movies right. But yeah. There's a background actor that shows up in the Spider-Man movie where you see him just completely overact and just go, which if you saw the thumbnail that I threw up there, that one. But we're going to be talking about some of the dumbest ones that I've ever come across. I know, Rob, I think you had a couple of stories. You may have a couple of stories as well. I'm not sure. But, and if you're not, you can just sit there and just add on accordingly. But there was one person I wanted to bring up specifically because Rob and I met through an acting class. Respect to basically this acting class. $25 a week for an acting class is not a bad gig. It's not a bad price. Sometimes you get what you pay for a little bit when you're starting out, not bad.
Right.
But the quality of people that we came across that were trying to break into the industry, one of them felt that her chest region was impressive, shall we say. You know, she was very proud of her. I don't remember. She was some blonde lady. She was probably about 40 or 45 years old at the time. I don't remember who this person is. And if you remember, drop it down in the chat. Don't say what her name is. I don't remember what her name is. But she was extremely impressed with her chest and made it up, basically built an entire reel showing off what her chest looked like. It was not topless.
To
it
the
was
left.
just something basically simply in a
left.
tank top. Go ahead, please.
To the left.
Yeah.
To the left.
Yeah, and I looked and she's like, she was so proud of this reel. She's like, I got this reel for background acting, which first of all, you do not do a reel for background acting. You know, your ability, like I said, to sit in a chair or walk from one place to another does not require basically the time and the effort to turn that into a 2-minute reel. You can show people.
I want that reel though.
What's that?
I want to make a reel on my background acting though. Once I do it.
Yeah. Listen, put a little music underneath that. You know, maybe a little like My Hero Academia or something to, you know, spruce it up a little bit. But it was a 4-minute reel dedicated to her chest.
Ooh, even then, 4 minutes, that's a little too much.
Yeah. And I don't remember what her name was, but I looked at this thing, and have you ever watched a reel where you're just like, there's no way in hell I can get out of this. I just have to wait this out to the end because they're very proud of it.
I've seen a few reels myself where, you know,
did this person like capture you and like just, hi, can I show you something?
It's like, yeah, well, that could be worded differently anyway. But yeah, it was like, you know, I did my reel. You know, you want to take a look? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Figure minute, 2 minutes. You're a background actor. What are you going to possibly have?
This is me walking. This is me bouncing. This is me spinning.
And I remember asking her outright. I'm like, dude, you know, you have a lot of time centered around your chest. You know, and you're you sure this is really what they want to see? And her response floored me. She's like, well, this is in case they want to know what my boobs look like. So her entire 4-minute reel was dedicated to showing off her chest. By the way, she will not do nudity. I want to point that out. But in case Blue Blood should come calling saying we need somebody who matches your description and your chest size. Go ahead, please.
I think I remember that young lady. I mean, I remember Jeff John Joe. Remember when Jeff John Joe, the manager guy?
Yeah, the guy who brought us in, whose name we don't actually fully know, kept changing it. No joke.
I remember him bringing her into the office, and he was talking with her, and they went into his office, because I remember that there was 2 offices in that school, or whatever you want to call it. He took her into his office, closed the door, and they were in there for a good 20, 30 minutes, something like that, when they normally just bring you in, take your picture, take your name down. You want to take classes? Yeah, sure. You know, and then that's it. You're like, maybe 5, 10 minutes tops, but, you know, maybe she was like showing him her reel for like.
She was auditioning, you're saying.
You're talking about the advanced class.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, John Joe, whatever his name was, and I know his last name, I'm not going to say it, but that part, at least I know his last name. He did push those classes hard, you know. So $525 back in 2010 money for terrible headshots with no prep, no makeup person, and honestly, if you shaved or not, doesn't matter. Just taking shots. Yeah.
Let me see if I can't find mine. My original photo.
I have
from
mine.
That class.
It's one of those ones that you kind of see, you know, when you're trying to say, okay, if someone looks like that, call a parent. You know, I mean, I talk about the fact that I usually have like cop, thug, or comedic sidekick. This was like, you know, creepy guy with a van as the official headshot. That basically was going to be the quality headshot that I was supposed to have. And but yeah, it was all the people, pretty much all the people in that thing were terrible. And it
Yeah.
was,
Yes, they were.
and what was funny about it is each one of them basically focused so hard on the background side of things. You know, uh, is there a way for me to post this? What do you mean by? I'm sorry, Rob. I said it out loud. I don't know what you mean by posting it.
Oh,
The
yeah,
name.
I get that photo. Yeah, the photo
Um,
photo that I.
if you can turn it, basically, if you have it on a link,
Oh,
if you can
okay.
turn it to Google Drive and post it that way, post it.
Okay. All right.
But I, in this industry, you do come across background people regularly, and background people are very few actors in the industry can spend 15 years in a career, sometimes upwards of 30, and have one IMDb credit. There's a lot of complaint in this area about the fact that they're not getting paid well, despite the fact that they'll walk away with $200 to $500 a day or more, plus actually eat and oftentimes steal food from the craft table.
I know I used to.
If I
I'd
was
slip in there when nobody was
I'm
looking.
grabbing something for the road. That's one thing. But back in the old days of COVID, pre-COVID, they used to just have this stuff out spread out on the table. People would legit come in with a backpack and just do this and just swipe 17 granola bars, 14 sodas, grab everything they could because they could. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh my God, I hate these people so much.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know these people that well. You know them better than me, but I look at it as this: these people are looking to become actors, and they ain't making that much money doing it. So are they? Were we talking about like how they're? Are
Well,
they all making $800 a day, or some of them just
no,
No,
getting
no,
by?
no, no.
most of them are getting
It's
by, but a lot of them sit there and trash the industry and the casting people, which is kind of where I was going to take this one next. Um, no, they don't make $800 a day. Most, honestly, I've never made $800 a day as even as a stand-up.
And
I mean,
from
I've
my
made
understanding, some of them get delusional as well, and just it becomes a job to them. An old friend of
Mhm.
mine, I will not mention their name, though I think I've said it in the past. He told me about how like he wanted to be an actor because he wanted to be noticed and he wanted to become famous. So he would go on these sets, and at some point they say, "Hey, we have a talking role. Would you want to come on and do this talking role? It's one part. It's only one line, and then you're done." And most people would just say no because the
mm,
minute they said that line, the minute they were in the spotlight, they
mhm.
couldn't be in the background anymore.
Yep.
So
Right,
there are so many people that even when an opportunity arises, they won't take it because at a point it just becomes about the money. And
right.
if it is, why do you continue doing it?
Well, I'll tell you the reason why I started doing it. It wasn't really just to become famous, although that sort of kind of, happened. But, that I wanted to become famous after I started doing it more often. But, for me, it was just an opportunity to do something creative because, being from a small town in Oregon and I come out here in 2003, I'd been a musician all my life. And so once I came out here, I didn't really have that ability to play with people because I didn't know anybody. I got into this class with Scott. We started doing, the background work and everything. And it just sort of developed from there. I mean, and then over time, when I started kind of doing like more on camera type stuff versus just being in the background and everything, I felt like I wanted to be on camera more. So,
Yep.
um,
But from the sounds of it, it sounds right there that you want to be creative. And someone who just stands there for 8 hours a day is not being creative.
yeah,
So,
well, that's what I'm saying. No, I was just saying, I was kind of meeting into the fact that like, once you get into doing background work, you meet new people and you network and things like that. So if that's what you want to do, you can continue to be a background actor. Granted, it doesn't really pay as well unless you're a union actor. I mean, obviously you're
In
going
New
to
York,
be
though, it's
paid
different.
more.
in New
Well,
York, it's
yeah, it
different.
depends. It depends on the project. Okay, I understand because
Non-union
commercials,
New York starts at 165 for the day.
right?
You know, if you
So,
walk in the door first 10 hours, doesn't matter if it's 1 hour or 10, they start at $165. That's
which
the
is
onion rings.
pretty good. It's
Hell
really
yeah.
good compared to what we were being paid when we first started. Man, that was,
75 for 10.
and and it was like, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the union got involved and said, okay, well, even though they aren't union actors, there's still got to be some kind of a level, playing field. Maybe that's the wrong term, but it's got to be, of course, and inflation too kind of drew everything, made everything go up. But, like I said, back then we were paying $75, it was, brutal work even for us. So my first job, I worked on the Adjustment Bureau. And we were standing in Fordham University in the quad area, and it was cold, man. It was cold, cold, cold. They told us that we had to wear at least a jacket, but I didn't really understand how cold it was really going to be that day. But when you've got people that do that all the time, they more of us know how to dress for the weather and things like that. But, if it's something that you want to do, you can continue to do it. But if it's something that you feel like is a stepping stone to something else, like for me, more power to that person. So,
But I feel it should be a stepping stone. It shouldn't be a career.
Well, what's funny is sometimes you get the people that see it as their glory moment. The opportunity to not get on camera, but force their way in the process, piss off anyone that's in there, including crew. You get those people that are set up here, cameras here.
I've seen that many times. Yep.
Kind of looking at it like a confused animal, you get these people that see it as their opportunity to get on camera to impress, I guess, home people. I don't know. But it's funny because you see folks like that. And I got to reset my chair. I had all this stuff completely perfectly set up too, and I screwed it all up.
But is that the lifer background actor doing that, or is that someone who's looking to shine for a moment?
That's the noob usually. The lifetime background actor will probably be more like
right. So that's who I'm really kind of getting at. It's I think there's a disconnect between the people who they do it because they're looking to rise the ranks, and then there's these background actors who I guess that's where I'm getting confused. You guys are saying it's like $1,000 a day if you're in New York City. So
it would say typically if you're a union actor in New York, 300 a day is probably the borderline average.
Okay.
So I guess you walk in the door 182 is what you walk into the door at.
But let's say a regular job is a 40-hour work week where you make X amount of money. Add all the shoot days together that a typical background actor would work. How much money do they typically, on average, make?
The average background.
You still have to take out taxes too. So
leave taxes out because that depends on where you are. That's
complicated. What's the net?
Net?
Yeah.
I mean, you can net easily about $800 a week.
800. Okay.
Here's the thing. The challenge exists now because of the COVID tests that have to be done. So, you have to go in for a COVID test, usually like a day or two prior. And then you get paid $100 for the COVID test. Don't get, as a union person, you get paid $100 to walk in the door, have your nose swabbed, and go home. So
I've seen 125 for certain productions.
New Amsterdam pays $125. So either way, run with it either way on that one. But so that does throw it off because you lose a work day to do the health insurance. But by the same token, all of your trip, all your entire day, so to speak, is your travel in and out just to get swabbed and go home. And you walk away with $100 out of it, which isn't bad in its own right. Especially
New York City is not a short trip though.
It isn't usually, but you know what? Honestly, it could be worse. And there's been a lot of complaints lately from some of the background people and I think it's because they're struggling financially, that they're raising hell on a lot of the Facebook pages, some of which are public, some of which have casting people on them, by the way. about the
watch
fact that
out.
they should have a legal right to get paid $182, the full freight of the day, and not $100, because it's considered a work day that they're losing out on.
Mhm.
You
Well,
know,
let's take a look at some things. From their home to the site,
Mhm.
driving to the train station, how much gas you burning, plus the $10 to $20 that you are spending. Well, let's be $10 on parking. Then, depending on what train you're getting on, you could anywhere from $6 to $24 or thirty
Mhm.
dollars one way.
Mhm.
Then the subway, which is $2.50. So start adding that up, and that starts eating away at $100 for
Well,
one day
here's the
getting
thing.
to the city.
If it depends. I mean, if you're in the city, which most background people are, typically speaking, they're in the four boroughs to begin with, so they would
Okay.
have a monthly pass to begin with. So, I mean, I'm going to use Broadway stages as an example, since a lot of them are done there. Broadway stages it does suck. It is 9/10 of a mile from the G train, so it does suck that way a little bit if you don't have a car, or you can take the bus over Steiner. You can do the same sort of thing. So you'd have to, subway and bus it a little bit, but a lot of them have a monthly pass to begin with. So it's unlimited uses for like $100 a month or whatever the math works out to be. You're just burning a little bit of time to and from. For
Okay.
people like myself and people that are in New Jersey, yeah, it's a little longer. My
Uh,
COVID
I,
test. Good.
I'll just throw in for the other argument then. Let's take away the transportation in there. I think they do have a right in saying like that they're losing a work day because
Mhm.
what time are they doing this? Are they doing it early enough or later enough in the day where they can take another job? Or is this like dead center of the day where it's like, well, I can't book anything else now?
Usually it's
I've
early. Go ahead.
seen
Go ahead.
yeah, I've seen two different time frames, like from like 9 in the morning until like 10:30 or 11 in the morning, and then like 1 o'clock until 3 o'clock kind of thing. So
Okay, so could you essentially take another gig on top of the test?
You could, and some do.
Oh, then
Some of them actually, believe it or not, if they're filming in the same location a test is done, they'll pop out of basically filming, go to the testing location, and then pop back. I've seen that happen a few times too. So they'll
be
double
honest
dip a
with
little
you,
bit.
one part of me says I'll be happy with $100, but another part of me is get your money.
Well, the other part of it to me also is the fact that it's 5/8 of a health insurance day. So I need 100 days, 100, basically 800 hours, in order to qualify for my health insurance every year. That's 5 hours of
yeah,
that COVID test alone. So look at it from that perspective too.
wow, I got a long way before I can get the health insurance.
Yeah. But but it's funny because like I said, there's been a lot of arguments and a lot of complaints about it. But the problem is they're complaining on public Facebook pages where casting people that they
Yeah,
are calling out, by the way,
that's
if they
not
are
good.
ripping into the people at Central Casting, Roman Candle, Grant Wilfley, and I can name people inside it, where they're bitching them out directly and being like, you know, Abby at Central Casting is an asshole and she will not book me. Meanwhile, Abby just saw you post that.
Actors being
Right.
dramatic, who knew?
Oh my God, dude. But I see this and I'm like, oh dear God, no. And then
I
Yeah.
you
mean,
make
the three of us are literally on a live stream on Zingo TV, which is a Fox affiliate, bitching about this stuff.
Well, I'm for more or less for the whole whatever comes my way. I don't try and go out of my
did we do
way
something
to
about Fox
complain.
here? Did I make a mistake here?
What?
Did I say something about Fox?
No,
Okay. I was gonna say, I don't
You
remember
no,
talking about this.
we're
Did I
talking
miss it?
about people saying stuff on certain platforms, and I'm saying our platform is a little more direct than even Facebook. So
Yeah.
you
But like
you
I said,
fox
the point
you.
the point being is that you don't bite the hand that feeds you is a polite way of saying it.
mhm.
Even if you're frustrated or agitated. But these guys do this and they don't seem to realize the mistakes that they're making. They'll sit there and they'll, you know, be belligerent to a production assistant. Don't be PAs talk to casting all the time, and they'll rip on PAs constantly.
Well, here's the
Well,
other
what
thing too. We were talking about in one of our last episodes about how who's the star of Barry? I knew his name last week. I can't think of it this week.
Harry,
HBO, the TV show Barry.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, Henry Winkler's in the show.
You know what? I brought up his name last week.
Oh,
And
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader.
Bill
And you
Hader.
guys didn't. You barely registered Bill Hader. So, oh well. But I was just to point out, like, he's the executive producer of Barry. He's the star of Barry. He started off as a PA.
Mm-hmm.
Do not start stuff with people below you, because they could eventually rise above you,
Oh,
and they may control your career.
I want to give a shout out. There's a guy by the name of Andy Benavides. He was the PA. He was the basically we'll say low level PA on Gotham. You know, he was the one that used to hand me my wardrobe for standing and everything like that. He just made the announcement that he's now second. That he joined DGA.
Nice.
He joined the union. He got all his days. He basically PAs need 600 days to qualify. He got all that, and now is a second AD. So,
Nice.
like you said, exactly. You know, you have these people that you bitch them out, and then they start rising through the ranks, and that all comes down to you.
One day that PA
Right.
that you peed on, he or she is going to be a director, and they're not going to put you in their film.
You know, I look at this sometimes. I'll watch this sometimes and think to myself, really, you're going to be that person over this? You know, I remember there was a background person who fought hardcore, fought tooth and nail, 100%. Pull the ADs into this. You know, pull the first AD into this because she insisted that the wrap time should be 4:06 and not 4 p.m., which meant 6 minutes of overtime. She fought with the PAs. She got the second involved. She got the first AD involved. He was pulled away from set while they're filming other stuff to engage in this conversation with this woman so she can get her 6 minutes of overtime.
Yeah, there's something when I took that PA boot camp, there was something to the effect that there's 6 minutes or 12 minutes that has to deal with like the union rules or something like that. That like had something to do with like breaking for lunch. Like if you, the grace period. I forgot where I'm going with this, but yeah, I mean, the 6 minutes has something to do with that grace period. And maybe, I don't know, she was thinking it.
This was not grace. Yeah. This was the fact that she felt that she should have been wrapped out at 4:06 instead of 4 p.m. for the day. And eventually they gave her the 6 minutes just to shut her off and make her go home. And she walked away all triumphant. But you think they took
never walked back, though.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, what you're talking about is basically with grace, it allows, I believe, 12 minutes or 15 minutes. I forget which it is. You're probably right. It's probably 12, where you can where you can delay lunch and penalties if you're finishing a setup, you know, to basically get one shot, one setup, things like that.
You're right.
That's something that they allow that usually has to go through the Teamsters and some of the other union reps to be like, yes, we'll allow it. So we're not taking penalties. I don't really see too many of an issues with that typically, but some of them gripe about that.
Yeah, one thing that I wanted to mention, rolling back to the fact that you've got people that are, that are bitching. You got actors that go and they mention, productions that they've auditioned for and before ahead of time, before they're even able to even say anything, kind of thing. I had noticed that there was an actor that I'm acquainted with. I don't really know the person. I just, I've kind of spoken to that person online a couple times. But they posted like an audition for some show out west, and next thing I know, he lost out on it because of the fact that he had posted his audition. And, when it comes to that material, that's like the property of the production company. It's not necessarily, yours to put out on the internet. And yeah, it's crazy with the amount of people that think that it's okay to post stuff like that,
Well, not all of them know the rules. But I think that's a problem too.
What's that, JT?
I think a lot of them, unfortunately, don't realize the rules too. Obviously, some of them just frequently ignore them, but some people, I think, they just don't realize no, don't do this. That this will tick off these people.
I got a good story. Oh, go ahead.
The selfies, when they take selfies with their the famous actor in the scene or whatever it is, that type of stuff is a big no-no with
Yeah,
like a lot of.
don't take a picture of Larry David when he's shooting Curb Your Enthusiasm. Anyone who does that on a film set in the area of Central Park in an episode with Bill Buckner is a right, complete 100% idiot who probably didn't know any better and should reap the consequences of it. Whoever did that, I'm not going to say who that was when they were brand new. Don't do that because
Wow.
Larry David is not a fan of that.
I want to tell a quick story. This isn't really anything with background, but it does involve people doing shady camera work.
Mhm.
So 10 years ago, I was hired by Midtown Comics.
Mhm.
Should I mention? I'm never going to work for them again. They ain't really paying me anyway.
I'll bleep it out later.
So Midtown Comics hired me to shoot their booth at New York Comic Con in 2012.
Okay.
And they just wanted me like, hey, we're going to do some interviews with the people we have for signings at our booth. So can you just film that? I'm like, yeah, sure. Oh, we have Frank Miller this year. Oh, we're going to do an interview with him? No, but we want footage of him. But he doesn't want us recording him. So what you're going to do is when he's signing autographs, you're going to stand across the aisle at a diagonal booth, and we want you to zoom in and get as much footage of him as you possibly can. Okay.
Stealthy.
And how did this work?
I never heard back. I did it. Frank Miller didn't catch me. I gave him the footage. And until I said it right now, no one really knew the wiser.
Okay, so
I hope that doesn't ruin any deals between Frank Miller and Midtown in the future.
So we should send this over to Frank Miller and possibly DC then? Let them know. I do have a story though. I do have a story that I'd forgotten about. There was a background actor on Wolf of Wall Street. It was a scene that the entire morning was spent with him and Leonardo DiCaprio. It was just the two of them the whole way through. And they broke for lunch and they were going to resume the scene later. The background actor used that window of opportunity during lunch to try and do an audition. The audition required a subway. So he went out, did his audition, took the subway back during lunch. Subway got stuck. The car got stuck. He was in there for 2 hours. They came back from lunch. Scorsese is like, where the hell is this guy? Leonardo DiCaprio is like, where the hell is this guy? They cannot shoot without him because it's just Leo and this guy. And they can't shoot without him. And he's stuck in a train tunnel. So he finally got back and they fired him right on the spot. And he got blacklisted immediately.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Yeah.
That's
dumb
crazy.
People
man.
get dumb prizes.
Yeah.
Obviously, the guy didn't have an agent.
I don't know what the audition was. I don't know, but dear God in heaven, dude, no. I mean, it's one thing. I'm not saying do it. It's one thing when there's like 500 people walking up and down the street in like Midtown and nobody's going to see it. But it's quite a complete another when it's you and Leonardo DiCaprio and Scorsese and nobody else.
Man, that would have been an awesome scene to be involved in.
Yeah, I don't remember what the scene was though. Oh yeah, Scorsese was living. And here's the thing, Marty Scorsese, and he doesn't mind being called Marty, by the way. He is actually a really kind, chill guy. Intimidating as hell because of his credibility and his resume. But he's actually just a really cool guy. And, he's not the kind of person you want to piss off. This dude did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some crazy business, man.
Yeah.
To miss shooting because you had to go to an audition, but the shoot that you're involved in already is like one of the biggest things you probably will ever be involved in. That's crazy.
Yeah. And suffice it to say, I don't know whatever happened to that guy. But when you piss off Martin Scorsese, nice as he is, angry as he can be in this case, you're never working, you'll never work in this town again, kind of thing.
I was going to say that.
Well, that's the thing. I think and it goes with any job. If you have an opportunity and it takes you a while to get that opportunity, which a lot of them don't come very easily, don't screw it up.
Yeah.
And yet I know so many people who screw them up. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Here's one thing I never understood. You're getting paid like I said, $200, $400 a day or more, you're getting free food. And for some reason, they bitch constantly about the food. Like it's beneath them. It's like, dude, you're eating ramen noodles and corn. I ate ramen noodles and corn. If someone's making grilled chicken, you take the grilled chicken and be grateful.
You
I'm
know,
going to be.
not
I'm sorry, Rob. You go.
not to bitch or nothing, but you remember that lunch that we had on the set of The Dark Knight Rises? They gave us a sack lunch with a sandwich,
That was a little rough.
a little piece of fruit, and a juice box.
That was poorly handled by that point. That was the funny thing about Dark Knight Rises. There is, I remember there was 3 different box lunches. And listen, I don't care about box lunch. You give me a sandwich, a bag of potato chips, and a soda, I'm happy as hell. I don't care.
Right.
But I remember there was 3 options. It was the turkey option, there was like a ham option, and then there was like the vegan option. They had like 500 of each, and by the end they had like 0, and like 485 vegan ones left. All these guys were just like, I am not eating the vegan. I remember the PA trying to, convince us, like, it's good though. We're like, yeah, we're not. We just spent 4 hours beating the crap out of one another here. We want to eat some kind of dead animal.
Yeah. I don't really remember what I had. I just know that it was a sandwich, a piece of fruit, and a juice box.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm okay with that personally. I don't really mind that.
Yeah.
The second day,
definitely.
Because I couldn't do the running scenes because I sprained the knee. So I sat there and actually got to eat lunch by myself, which was nice. But it's like I said, you're getting catered food, filet mignon, grilled chicken, pasta Alfredo, cakes. Sometimes, I mean, for God's sake, sometimes there's a sushi bar if that's your thing. Not my thing, but that's And they're like, oh my God, you know what? Honestly, this New York strip is a little dry. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's terrible. I mean,
I think that's all of us though. You get spoiled long enough, and then just you complain at the littlest things.
Dude,
my
I
job
in my car in the middle of winter. That shit changes a person.
My God, those M&Ms are stuck together.
Yeah. Oh, what the hell? All M&Ms are basically saying E's. I don't get it. That's 3.
How come there aren't any brown ones in this bag?
Dude, I don't understand the point of making it brown M&M. Blue, okay, yeah. I can see that, but it's already brown on the inside. It's like, let me make it brown on the inside.
I think it's just a point to say, like, I don't know. Never mind. I don't know where I was going with that.
But yeah, like I said, it's like you said, the quality of food is better than whatever I can cook. I'm happy as crap. It's like, oh, you give me a salad too?
Crap is pretty happy.
Here's something I'll say. Where I work, and it's not like a movie business. My first job, I had a vending machine that I had to pay for food, for chips and stuff. I now work someplace that I get free chips and soda and etc. And I get a free lunch. And I complain about it nonstop. It's like, and I stop myself sometimes, like, I didn't pay for this. But still, it could be better.
But see, here's the other side of it, though. You're offsetting that with the stress of your own job. You're not offsetting that with sitting in a warm area, getting snacks and sodas whenever you want, and watching Netflix and taking a nap for 4 hours. Because a background actor, basically, if they're not being used, they're sitting around waiting. So they're sitting there sometimes in like $700 ergonomic chairs. No joke. It actually does happen. And you're sitting there watching Hulu, Netflix, playing games on your phone, or taking a nap. And you're getting paid sometimes $60 to $70 an hour to do that.
Yeah. The hurry up and wait syndrome.
I can see that then. Yeah. Then
listen, you got a lot of stress in your job. I'm not denying that. But for that kind of stuff, it's like, you're sitting there, it's like, you just sit there, you're playing Candy Crush or whatever you're playing. I don't know, we even know what the kids play these days. And you're getting sometimes upwards of $80 an hour.
My God, all the sushi is just tuna. Where's the salmon?
Exactly. Oh my God. But sometimes with these it's a little different now with COVID because it's all more or less box lunch setups. But we used to have just buffets of stuff. It's like if you want to walk down with like 6 pounds of New York strip or like 4 pounds of salmon, boom, just drop it and go and take it home with you.
But too though, I've noticed that there was differences between non-union lunch and a union lunch when I first started.
Yeah.
So, things have changed, obviously, but, I wouldn't complain about the food that I was, at least I was, getting food,
Yeah.
what can you do? It's like,
I spent a
I
lot of
don't
times with ramen noodles and corn. I'll tell you what I can get.
know.
But
What I get when I go out, what I get when I get out and go out on these, even before I joined the union and everything, I would always get the people that would just sort of gravitate towards me. I don't know why, because I had no idea what was going on, but they would always ask questions about, the union and things like that, as if they were
yeah.
like, and of course I'd kind of like let people know what it is that I knew of what I experienced and things like that when it came to dealing with, that sort of thing. But, it would always be every single production that I was involved in, there would always be some group of people that would sort of gravitate towards me to find out what was going on with me. I have no idea, Barb. Just ask this person over here. They know what's going on. So that's what I would always get.
Well, see, here, at this point, I don't really see, there's rarely a difference now. The non-union get the same food that the union people and the crew also get too,
Right.
aside from sandwich o'clock, but by God, the crew people more than deserve that. But as far as now, like I said, it's pretty much the same thing all the way through. I don't know. I mean, like I said, for me, I don't understand it because it's not like you're sitting in an office somewhere, dealing with 6 different bosses who do 6 different individual, performance reviews on you every January.
TPS reports.
I never had TPS reports. I did have to pay $420 a year to park in the company parking lot, though, for the job that had 6 different bosses. It's 100% true. Added fun fact: it was on the first base side of a baseball field with a low fence and a sign said "Park at your own risk." We're not liable. It was company property. You parked on company property with a sign saying you're on your own if a baseball goes through.
Funny parking story I'll mention real quick. It's not my own, but the individual, he probably get in trouble for this, but he's no longer on this earth, so probably not. An old boss of mine, when he worked for NBC, actually he worked for USA and NBC bought them.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are aware, USA used to be in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Okay.
So when the facility was there, they decided, oh, well, we're going to move it up to Inglewood Cliffs, but we still have some stuff in Jersey City. Now, they didn't have the building anymore. They didn't have the parking spaces anymore. But my boss was like, oh, I have to still go there and do that stuff. Okay, we'll renew the parking garage for you so you can park there. It's like, I'm the only one going there. You're going to pay for an entire parking garage just so I can park my car? I could do them on my own. So they're like, we're NBC. You're getting the parking garage.
Nice. Meanwhile, on my side of the fence,
man.
they closed down one of the parking lots to add a 750 car garage, which would have been great. Except they never got the permits to do it, and we're like, oh, in that case, we'll turn it into an office building. So we lost one of the additional parking lots because they just never got the legal permits.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Fantastic. So this is going to be a horrible transition, but I don't know how else we're ever going to transition to
With
this.
10 minutes left?
With 10 minutes left, hosting.
Yes. The host with the most. We'll talk about it. I want to start this off. There's a reason, by the way, if you saw the thumbnail, I used the picture from South Park. There was an episode about QVC called Cash for Gold. I want to start off by saying, do you know how much a QVC host makes?
I do not.
Take a shot.
I'm gonna guess.
$2.
I'll say. All right. Realistically speaking, QVC host probably makes about $100,000 a year.
Close, but not close enough. Close, but you're under. They make $125,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's my next job.
It's a casting job. Basically, the QVC is located out of Philadelphia, so you have to live locally. They won't let you commute. You have to move down either to Philly or probably within like a half an hour of it. But it's through a specific casting agent. I'm not going to mention the guy's name. But if you have a hosting reel, Devani came back with 54,000. No, you're not even halfway there. $125,000 a year to be a QVC host saying, okay, the next item that we have up is number H4276. It's this fantastic, beautiful Fire Stick. And if you look at the Fire Stick, it also includes in there Energizer batteries. This can be available for you for only
Well,
$49.99.95.
the thing you got to realize about that job though is not only are they selling all this stuff, well, not only are they hosting the show, they have to actually sell these things. So you have to kind of be a good salesperson in addition to a good TV host. So I could
I auditioned
see
for
you
it.
did. How'd you do?
I didn't get it. Because here's the thing. I'm going to put this politely as possible for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have the face for QVC. To put it in another direct way, I'm too fugly for the job. I do have sales experience. I spent 7.5 years doing commission sales, and I do have a hosting reel. But frankly, at the end of the day, nobody would actually really want to buy anything from me except possibly, some little child basically that I'm trying to coax to a van because that's the face I have. Dude, I'm sorry. This is what this face is. I got to deal with what I got. Like I said, cop thug comedic sidekick, not leading role. And it's one of those, like I said, it's the amount of money that they make. Now, obviously, it's a lot of work in this case here, kind of go through all that kind of stuff. I did do a hosting gig for a home shopping network startup that never went anywhere. It was out in Long Island someplace. It was supposed to turn into something, but I never heard back. And I don't think they really did anything with it anyway. But I have the reel as a host. And also I have the sales experience. Like I said, having done 7.5 years of sales on commission, that I was grateful I was at least able to try and do it remotely. They Visual Edition, you basically do it remotely, through the camera and everything like that. And if they want you, they'll bring you down. But I gave it a shot because I figured, okay, what have I got to lose? Well, I will move down to Philadelphia for 6 figures. And then shortly after that, I saw that South Park episode. Suffice it to say, they do not actually hold the QVC people in a very good light. And I'm kind of glad that I never got called for the audition.
Though the 125,000 probably would have been very nice.
Dude, what? It would have been great. And I could live in South Jersey. I could survive that. But I don't know. I mean, to be that kind of salesperson all the time, I think would have taken its toll on me, because it's all about the numbers and all about the quota. And I've been down that,
Sales is not my thing.
It's not mine either. I when I did sales, I had to do a company meet or a sales meeting every Monday, and you had to write your numbers on the board of what you did that week and what your monthly cumulative was. Mm-hmm. And you had to be compared to 50 other salespeople in that room. That kind of stuff makes you sell things that you wouldn't normally morally do.
ABC, you didn't get the Cadillac.
ABC, always be closing. That was the mentality of what we were trained on. So you guys, I would close you guys, and I would know what you guys would do.
I don't know about that.
I still could, Oh yeah, I could look at both of you and be like, okay, this, and I would think with the end game. I don't have to do that anymore. Listen, I went from.
Were you the top salesperson at your company?
I was not top sales, but I had the top team, because I was a really good leader and trainer of people, but my sales numbers personally were weak. So I cornered the market. I was able to basically use colleges like FDU, Seton Hall, William Patterson, Montclair to bring in students as interns and have them sell.
Nice.
And then I would get my overrides and all this kind of stuff. So I made money on it, but I didn't have to be the guy who would sell, because my butt would pucker up and I get uncomfortable every time I had to close.
That's fun.
Yeah. Not my cup of tea. Thank you. But I went from, it was the weirdest thing. I went from finance went from sales right to background work, and the ability to have a conversation with a human being and not think about the numbers on the board was a freeing feeling, the likes of which I had not felt in years. Oh my God. I love talking to you, because if I didn't have to think about you from the standpoint of IRA, insurances, car insurance, I didn't have to think about any of that. I could just talk to you as a dude. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so much fun. I don't have to think about sales. I don't have to be that guy at a party anymore who's like, oh, he's here. We're going to go over here now.
Did I ever mention how I got into the television business?
I don't believe you did. Actually, no, I don't know that expert.
So I guess a little like you. When I went to school, I went for finance. because it seemed like the smart bet. So I have my bachelor's of science in finance, and after I graduated, I had no idea where to work because I just wanted the degree, not an actual career in finance. I think I was actually on my way to apply for a job at Cablevision as a sales retention rep.
Oh,
Now, that's one thing to try to sell people. It's another thing to convince angry people to keep buying from you.
mhm.
To say the least, I think
Oh.
what ended up happening was we got to the building. Basically, it was another friend who was trying to encourage me to do this as well, so we went together. We got to the building, and he looked at the door and he went, "Do you want to do this?" And I was like, "No." "Do you want to do this?" "No." So we left. And we ended up going to our college, which was 5 minutes down the road, because they had some sort of career services.
Mm.
Talked to them, and immediately they were looking at my thing. It's like, you have a lot of free electives in television. You know, News 12 is right down the road, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
And that's how he ended up at News 12.
Wow. And
Wow.
all because you decided not to walk in the door of Cablevision.
Yes. I decided not to walk in the door at Cablevision to still work for Cablevision.
Well, yeah, but at least in a different sector that, you know,
Yes.
that didn't involve basically having to convince people. And that's one of the hardest things when you try and cancel something, because there's a lot of bonuses that usually go to people that are able to convince a customer to stay put.
Yeah. And in I think I was entering the market in mid 2008.
Yeah.
Sales and sales rep were like the only jobs you could get. And it's just
Hmm.
like, this is not me, man.
Yeah. And that's,
Yeah.
well, good on you. That's, boy, yeah, you probably sit there once in a while, you know, and think to yourself, I wonder what my life would be like if I walked through that door that day.
May not be alive.
Death by stress.
So other hosting jobs. I don't know. Speaking of hosting, do they have a host yet for the Oscars, which are probably coming up very, very soon?
I do not know. We only have a couple minutes left, but let's take a look real quick. I can type. It's probably not going to be Kevin Hart, though, I don't think. All right, so basically, oh, that's right, I did hear this. It's Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumer.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they just will not do a single host anymore. They're always going to do doubles or triples
I think
in this case.
it's probably smarter that way, because also it's the same thing with like the Super Bowl halftime show. If you like one person but not necessarily the other two, you'll still tune in for that one person. So if you like Wanda Sykes, you'll tune in for Wanda Sykes, even if you don't care about Regina Hall or Amy Schumer, and then circle around that. So same thing with the halftime show.
I feel very bad because I don't know who Amy Hall is. I probably do, but I'm not putting a face
Amy
to the
Schumer, you
name.
mean? Amy Schumer?
No, who's the other one?
Regina Hall.
Regina Hall.
Regina Hall.
Yeah.
I'm confusing them.
She's in
a
scary
black
movies, scary movie movies. Law and Order L.A.
Okay.
The National Lampoon's Vacation reboot with Ed Helms. I feel like I could have sworn she was in SNL too. I guess she wasn't. No, my bad. So
Never mind then.
yeah, she was in the Barbershop movies too.
Are we going to? We got a minute left. Oh well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we got to wrap this up anyway.
Wrap.
So, thank you as always, gentlemen. Any other questions, thoughts, ideas, compliments, suggestions, or complaints?
No.
All right then. So I figure we're going to wrap this up.
All right, Ed.
As we look at the random YouTube comments that are coming in, now we have read in today.
Yeah.
But yeah, one more time.
Spam wants us to go away.
Yeah, this is Tales from the Film Set. Find us on Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and also Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at Tales from the Film Set. I'll get it right one of these days. And then on Twitter at Film Set Tales. Basically, wherever you're watching this right now, you can continue to watch it there. For myself, I'm Scott Churchson. That is Mr. JT McGuire, and that is Mr. Robert Leckington. Tuning in next time around. We're going to be breaking down more stuff, your suggestions and whatnot. And for me, I'm Scott. Thanks to you guys. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Take care.
No
Be awesome yourselves.
Bye-bye.